What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Honey I'm Home podcast. I'm Priz.
I'm Talon.
And we have a very special guest kicking it with us today. She is an entrepreneur. She's a businesswoman. She's one of my favorite to follow on social media as far as foodie content creation. Maria, aka LATINAFOODIELA. Woo!
I feel the love. I just want to say thank you for welcoming to your podcast. Super honored, and I think it's likewise the inspiration of entrepreneurs from everywhere. And I think it's something really special. So thank you for highlighting this specific topic. It means a lot.
Right. I'm like, oh my gosh, now you're thinking us. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for doing it. How you feeling today?
Just gonna tell you right now.
Y'all suck.
How I'm feeling right now, I feel, a little nervous naturally. I'm used to, filming and editing and having a controlled environment. But I feel here it's already more of a vulnerable environment, which, I do want to tap into. So you guys give me that platform to do it here. It means a lot. And it's good. It's good for creators like me that we don't get that opportunity as much to really talk about, personal life or just who we are and how we came to be where we are at. So yeah, it feels good to be here.
We'll go into a little bit about your background, where you're from, how you got into, this world.
Okay, so, I grew up in South LA, South Central, and I'm basically half Salvadorian, half Mexicana. Yeah, right? Yeah, good shot. So I grew up in South LA. I love it here. I live with my family still. No shame in that.
Period.
I feel like it's just.
Wish my family lived here, so I could.
You get the gist of it, right? So yeah, I live with family still. I basically how to start. It's a big journey. Well, how I got here, I would say, is I was in college between 2018 to 2022. I went to St. Mary's University. I got a degree in psychology, minor in business.
Oh my God, same.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't graduate though, but I studied.
It's still good.
You tried.
Yeah.
And basically, but it was the senior year where I pretty much was like, do I really want to do I really want to tap into psychology? I was more intrigued with the business aspect, but in what I think was the search, right? So one day, unfortunately, before all of this thought process came, COVID happened. And this was when, a lot of businesses from every industry was being affected. And my little sister, shout out to Sarah, she right now is 13, but I think she was around a little before 10 years old. She was like, I heard of DoorDash, and I think this is where third-party apps were getting more popular, delivery apps. She was like, why don't we just get food deliveries, and why don't we kind of post our ideas? This was when TikTok was blowing up too.
And this was she was saying this for a side hustle.
Yeah, we weren't thinking of money. I didn't even know money was involved. This was just let's see how we can try foods. Let's have fun since we're stuck at home, right? So
She's ahead of her time.
I love that.
She was ahead of her time.
Businesswoman.
So I do give her credit for the beginnings of all this, and
that's amazing.
And till this day, she actually still helps me film. So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she just told me, why don't we just order some stuff? So she's big on Asian cuisine. She loves Japanese curry and Japanese hot dogs and stuff like that, different stuff, Korean food too. So we would order a lot of different Asian cuisines. I would film. She would literally hold the camera. I would be holding it. We would not use our voices or faces, but we would just put simple ratings. Try this spot, DoorDash, Uber Eats. It's fine. 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10, whatever. It was more
and you're
critique.
posting this on TikTok.
On TikTok, just TikTok. Instagram was still my personal. I didn't feel confident because people from high school, people from college, people sometimes could find it cringy, rightfully so. But anyway, the point is, we went towards being more consistent because we saw people commenting I didn't know there was a Japanese bakery. I think we really highlighted Little Tokyo over here and the other side of LA. So from there was just more hype. My sister was excited. She's like, why don't we go to restaurants now that the lift was going up? I forgot when this was. I believe it was maybe 5-6 months after, it was very serious, but the lift was going up, masks, of course, but we started going to restaurants. my parents were telling me, what is going on? Like, yeah, we know it's fun, in the house, you're filming, but now you're going to restaurants, now you're getting your friends involved. What is going on? And it sounds like this was a distraction.
Parents?
My parents.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, they were just concerned. They were concerned.
Yeah.
They were just like, what's going on? We're noticing your shift of attention is going towards, something that they don't understand, right? So when I was explaining to them why every weekend I was spending time hours at different restaurants, I was not getting paid at all the first year. It was just creating value, creating that connection with community. And we were just going to different restaurants. My sister was getting less and less involved because my parents were like, okay, now this is more adult. Like you got to work with people that have that time, because my sister's still studying, right? So I got, other, my brothers involved, friends involved, and it became more of, I was showing my face, I was showing my voice. I became more confident. And actually before, I realized I was a singer back then with my brother. We have a Christian band called Heaven, so I'll give shout out to that. And from there, I already knew I had a certain confidence with my voice, but never just talking, but singing, So when I started putting voiceovers on different parts of Little Tokyo, Olvera Street, and all these different cultural parts, I realized, people like the voice, and I grew
The relatability.
Exactly, but weirdly enough, that was one of my biggest struggles, because growing up I was bullied about my height, or my just hairiness, like my hands, or my voice, being, I guess, more masculine, because when little kids, they like to make fun of girls who have those attributes or whatever. I was really insecure about my voice for a long time. But, when people kind of love the voice, I'm like, oh, you have a show voice or something like that. It just changed that confidence level. And,
that's amazing.
And it's hard to explain. But now my family is basically helping me, supporting me, and my brothers work with me. My sister works with me. I have childhood friends working with me.
Cheers to family supporting family.
So it's now, I would consider, a family business.
I love that.
Even my dad, gets involved. He's called like the Salvi Papa, Salvadorian dad.
I love that.
And his reactions. Actually, today I'm posting the LA County Fair, his reactions to the LA County Fair.
I love that.
So we're super excited for that.
Let's get the drinking.
Let's do an actual cheers.
Yeah, bring it.
Listen, cheers to family supporting family.
I love that.
I feel like growing up in our generation, even the ones before, when you go off into something that is very like just out of range, not the regular 9 to 5, we're not really supported all the time. You know what I mean? I feel like parents are like, oh, what are you doing? This isn't safe or whatever, but
You're taking a risk. What's
it's
going
a little
on?
different, but I love that, your family, and we'll talk more about that. I want to know how that kind of came about.
But first, let's cheers to family business, because I love that.
Let's do it.
That's also what we're doing here.
What is this? Thank you so much. I got it. Ooh, I like
Full
that. That's cool.
thing.
That's cool.
Thank you so
Very
much.
generous.
And Emily, you can go in on to what inspired it and what it's going on.
It's like
Yes.
a foodie-inspired cocktail. So it's a peppercini margarita with a sriracha salt rim. And I was thinking, like, with you being Mexican and Salvi, we can call it like the bebe come.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
It's okay. I'm used to this when I'm filming. It's food everywhere. Don't worry.
funny.
I'm used to it.
Bebe
It's bebe come.
Bebe come.
Wow.
Bebe
Presentation-wise, phenomenal.
Okay.
Nice.
Coming from a foodie.
Let me just take a little sip. Before
Yes.
Yeah, take
Yes.
a little sip. We want to know what you think. What's
Oh
it
my
giving?
gosh.
What is it giving?
This is good.
What is it giving?
I really do like that spice.
It's okay.
Wow, good kick.
Did you get the sriracha salt on the side?
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you get-
I was. Let me see it again.
Let me see again.
Wow, I could finish this. That's how good it is. You just tap into it. You got me.
Cheers to that, guys.
Cheers to that.
This is really good. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
I want to go back to something that you had said specifically. What do you say to the little girls or the little boys who do have a deeper voice, or they're taller, or they have hair? Because I grew up with hair on my arms too. What do you say to them?
I would say your things that you could feel maybe insecurities could be your biggest strengths in the future. You could develop them to become a form of a shield, or a form of confidence that you could just not, I wouldn't use the word manipulate, but you can convert it. There you go. I would use the word convert. I would convert it into something that could strengthen you, your confidence. And I mean, I feel like just convert it to something that can make you stronger.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the end, you're going to have to ignore the hate. With this business, I've gotten a lot of hate, especially being overweight, being a plus size girl. So much hate, but I think in the end, I focus more on the love, on the positivity, on the importance of the messages to support the LA food culture. That's what really matters. And if you focus on what matters, you know, the hate doesn't hurt because you already know your purpose.
Exactly.
And and there's nothing that can tear you down there. So, but of course, it could get to you.
Yeah.
And if it does, remind yourself.
Yeah.
Just go back to that. I don't know what to call it. Just go back to that moment you realize you could overcome.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because I'm sorry, like I love when I lose my voice. I love when I get that
raspy?
rasp. Yes.
I think it's
so
very- I
I
think
feel
it's
like
great.
it's amazing. Like, you know what I mean? And I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I love when I lose my, so I don't know. It's just, I hear certain things about how like people are so like just mean to people for no reason. And I'm just like, what? That's hot.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's amazing. Like, and you speak with so much conviction that like, I would never, you saying that like your voice used to be an insecurity is crazy to me. Cause I look at your content and I'm like, oh, this girl is like badass.
It's
like
fire.
she like, you
Thank
speak
you.
like so, you know what I mean? And like strongly in that way of like, yep, I'm here. Like, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I think-
it's crazy to hear you say that.
Yeah, I think one of the most common hate comments I get is, aimed at my voice. It's a lot of men, right? Or I'm assuming men.
Yeah.
Or trolls, I would call them. But
Yeah.
they would just say like, oh, your voice is deeper than mine. Or they're questioning,
Sounds like a personal problem.
questioning my gender, stuff like that, you know? And
It sounds like they're a little insecure.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's-
So I think in the end, it's at this point, sometimes I don't even look at my comments because I'm just like, you know, I know my message and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And going
think
back to, I love that you touched on purpose. What do you feel like your purpose is in this content
in
world?
this world, in this space, I think as a Latina foodie, which I take that title as my identity at this point, I feel like that purpose is to be the voice of the industry that is most likely not seen as much, you know, because a lot of people, you know, in the industry of food, it's prioritized as very modern or focusing on higher end, which is nothing's wrong with that. But I feel like if you want to see what the foundation of food culture, I would always say it starts at home. It starts with family, it starts with culture. And I would never downplay that. I would never downplay that meaning of what it is, food culture is. And it has led to what food is now, the restaurant industry, everything in the world that has to do with community and culture. I think the center of it is food.
It's food. Yeah.
And you know, and no one can not get ever tired of, I mean, no one's, let me say that again. I mean, for me, I can never get tired of food, but I don't know. But like, I feel like that's just universal love, and it would be food. So I feel like my purpose is to storytell and be a voice for those who don't feel like they have that spotlight to tell their story, or they think that it's not as important as the next restaurant that, you know, that has a lot more money or has, you know, all these other opportunities. But the vendors too, street vendors, night markets, I love giving them the highlight. And I feel like a lot of my fans are just people from the hood, people from my area. You know, I love it. I hug people. I'm like, you know what? Like, no matter what area you think I'm at or whatever, I'm always going to give a hug. I'm always going to tell you, how are you? What's your name? You know, I love the community.
Yeah.
I never want to change that.
I love the humbleness. I think you make me so proud to be where I'm from in my background.
And you feel it too. It's something very special. And I think that carries to your character too.
For sure.
You know, so I would hope that I never change in that regard. And I will try my best to never become something I'm not.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to stay in that. And cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
I want to take another sip. Cheers to that.
I love that.
I think you're on the way to.
No, you are a great.
so.
You know what I mean? I don't
person.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I
thank you.
don't see that happening for you. Some people are just too real. You know what I mean? To ever kind of play in that playground of like some bullshit. But I do have a question.
Go for it.
Have you always been a foodie? Like, has this always been like? Do you look back now and see where you are? And like, obviously, you know, you have some time behind you, but you have so much time before you to do all of the things that you love and you're excited about. But like, do you look back now and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm here doing this. That makes so much sense because of X, Y, and Z.
That's such a great question. I would say I've always been a foodie. And I think this goes more than the foodie term. It would be more like I grew up a no sabo kid, and for those who don't know, no sabo in our culture means, you know, someone who lacks the knowledge of their homeland or wherever their families are from ethnically, right? Ethnically, thank you. So I grew up a no sabo kid. It wasn't my parents' fault. I really thought, they were trying to not have me struggle to conform to the Western society. So I realized that, they didn't teach me as much, but for sure food was always something that I felt, could be a part of my identity. Like every time I ate it, I felt, okay, you know what? It reminds me I'm Mexican. It reminds me I'm Salvadorian. And I feel like my parents too had to kind of convert to that Western society to fit in. My dad, my mom stopped speaking Spanish more and she started speaking English towards me. She's a teacher and I applaud her for that. But now she's like, no, I want to teach you guys Spanish. So we're all together right now, embracing it more. My dad is learning English still. So I think all of us are just approaching in a way we're just learning about and appreciating more. But back to that topic, I'm rambling. Hold on. So where I'm going to. So the term foodie, I would say yes. I've been a foodie since I was a kid, but also I think it's deeper. I was always shamed for my weight or being overweight, being a plus size person. And I think that the word foodie, like I'm kind of taking that back now and being like, yes, I love food. It connects me to who I am, my culture, and to my community. But it was the biggest struggle growing up. Again, besides the voice, the hairiness, I still have hairy arms. I don't care. But my point is, I feel like the weight was the biggest struggle. And like every time I would go to a family party or like go out, like I would look around and see who's looking at me eating, and I would be insecure about, if I'm going to get a second plate, like which Tia is looking, or Tia or whatever. But I feel like that insecurity is always in me. So the fact that I'm doing this and like recording myself and there's like hundreds of people walking besides me at a night market, and I'm just taking bites, enjoying my food, and I'm not caring anymore what people think, and I think that that the word Latina foodie is something that I'm embracing now because I'm not letting that shame, fat phobic, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not letting it get to me, and it's something that it's a struggle that turned into a confidence thing. I don't mean it, but
well, I think it's just about taking something, like you've been saying, taking it back. It's about taking something back that someone somewhere down the line stole from you in the first place. You know what I mean? Like 9 times out of 10, the biggest insecurities that you have, it's because someone else pointed it out to you versus you being like, oh, I'm really like, you know what I mean? Because the things that we don't like about ourselves, 9 times out of 10, like we're gonna change them. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I have an issue with this about myself. So let me change this about me. But when other people kind of put their opinions on you and your life, it makes you feel I personally feel like that's where insecurities stem from. So
I totally agree.
I love that you're taking that back because it's like
taking it back. And I take a double bite now. If a woman, like anyone looks at me like that with that look, I'm like, I'm gonna take another bite for you.
That's me right there. As a content creator, what does a day in the life look like for you? I don't know if you've ever done one of these. Just like, you know what I mean?
I've been so motivated to actually do it because of my best friend Naomi. She is known. She's known, Naomi Mendoza, she's really known for her a day in the life as a Mexican restaurant owner, and she does vlogs on what it's like. And I feel like I'm inspired to start a series, hopefully soon, now that you mentioned that, the life of a Latina foodie and what it entails. And I would say now that I've converted, well, I already told you how my sister and I, we started maybe a year, free content, everything was just, for funsies, and it was amazing. But there did come a point where my parents were like, okay, you're really investing your time.
Right.
What are you getting out of it?
What are you getting out of it? You're really dependent. I was dependent on my parents at that time. And they were just telling me, like, you gotta show us that this is something that is going to convert to a living, convert to something that you can, it could be a career. So I think that's where I realized, I have credibility. I have built something. Now I need to, have that value, show people the value, and put put something there where they can contribute to my way of living. So now I do it full time, and I'm very grateful for that, for all the supporters who have helped me become to this level. I have, it's basically marketing, and I have my business is marketing, and I basically tell restaurants, there's different styles of making videos, and they hire me to help them create different types of marketing. And not only that, I just get to tell their stories. I get to show the food. I get to enjoy it. So it's definitely something that it's like my dream job.
Yeah.
I basically eat for a living,
Yeah.
and it's freaking amazing,
Yeah.
and tell their stories.
So do you just go to these restaurants and you're like, hey, I really love your restaurant. I love your content. I love your food. Let me help you with your content.
Yeah,
Most of the time, I do approach if I happen to be at a restaurant. I see a lot of potential. The service is great. The restaurant, the manager or whoever is in charge, it feels great. I do mention, or sometimes they even recognize me, and they just ask me like, how can we make this happen? I say, you know what? I have a manager. I have a team. Contact us and we can get started on how we can make this ball rolling. A lot of the time, restaurants reach out to us. We don't care if you have 100 followers, 200 followers. We've helped restaurants go, or even vendors go from 100 followers to 10K to 5K.
That's amazing.
To a certain number, but
fire.
they see the impact.
Yeah.
So I tell them, this is not about a paycheck. You're investing, and this investment, you're supporting my living, my team's living, my manager, my family, but you're also investing in your business.
In yourself.
So don't think of it as, it's just no. It's an investment,
Yeah.
and you're sure as well going to see something
Yeah.
come back, because almost every video we do see a bunch of impacts, stories, and even my best friend Naomi, her restaurant, when we make our videos together, you see people from all over TikTok, Instagram, and they're like, we see your videos, we see her vlogs, and we're inspired to come and try and even film it, So in the end, it's marketing, it's investment, and I'm not ashamed to say that it's my way of living, because some people could look down on your charging businesses. I always say it's an investment.
It's an investment.
How else am I going to survive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Especially
It's hard to explain.
Yeah,
I can't live off of likes. I can't live off of viralness. I wish I could, but I cannot. So right now, it's just plain and simple. It's an investment, and it's something that I have proof of, and that's my confidence. I have a loyal fan base, a lot of Latinos that follow us, and every time I post something, I'm going here, I'm going there. I saw your sticker. I'm going here. So I feel like that's because of the supporters. That's where I'm at, and the businesses see that, so it's a good thing.
How do you get to that point though, to be like, okay, me and my sister are making these videos on TikTok. Okay, now I'm gonna start using my voice. Okay, now this is going a little bit more viral. Okay, how did you make your first restaurant that you went to and you propositioned them? Hey, did you tell them like, hey, these are my numbers, this is what I could do for you? Did you see other people doing it?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened?
That is a great question. So in the foodie industry, I would just call it a foodie industry. You guys, we all know there's other foodies out there. It's a big marketing industry. And I think, there's positives and negatives to it, because, everyone is approaching things differently. But I would say one of my biggest inspirations to convert to a business is other foodies that I've seen that, I noticed, how are they making a living? And then they would just plainly say, we have our value, and our businesses that we work with, they see the value and they're investing in us. Right. So from then on, I realized, okay, I'm going to approach it the same way. So some foodies did give me great advice. Yeah. And from then on, I used that advice to basically approach it myself and gain the confidence of, business comes up to me, I want a video. And I'm like, okay, you're like, give me a second. But no, I gained that confidence with my manager, with my brothers, to just be straight up. We want to look on your menu, we want to look at your Instagram, your TikTok, any social media. We want to see, what's your goal? Are we trying to tell a story? Are we just trying to talk about a certain promotion, or a brunch, a new menu, new location, franchise, or just one location that you just want to focus on? So there's so many avenues, but basically the foodies, there's some foodies that I admire so much. I would just name a couple. I think Mr. Biggs is a great, I don't know if you guys have heard of Mr. Biggs. Yeah. Really great foodie. Grub with Greg, really great. Another great foodie. Grub with Greg really attends to multicultural cuisine, and like that inspired me so much. And Mr. Biggs too. So I think those two foodies definitely inspired me to just be like, what, if they can do it, I can do it. Also, I didn't see a lot of Latina or just women in that space.
And we still really don't.
It's really male dominated, and like it was very intimidating to be a young Latina, plus size, someone who's just like, I mean, I really love food, so it's not hard to do what I do, but just to get in that space, it just felt like, if I walk in a room of like an event or something, and there's a lot of foodies there, they're, naturally, they're your competitors.
Yeah.
You think about it. Sometimes
Yeah.
they could be competitive, but I try not to see it like that. I always try to be friends with a lot of people, and I try to get to know people.
Community.
Exactly.
I do think it's important to know that in any field,
It's in any field.
It could be anything.
Yeah, I just feel like
still
even
competition.
But
you know what I'm
the
saying?
proof of that is that even talking about it now is like it's so tough to even like mention. I have dealt with certain.
Yeah.
I'll just say it, certain male foodies that treat me differently.
Yeah,
and I've
I believe
seen
that.
it. I've seen it, and I just I let it go, and I'm just what. This is what it's going to be like from now on. I'm only going to grow. I want to embrace. I want to enjoy, and I want to inspire and be inspired.
Yeah.
I don't want this weird, I don't know, influencer
Energy.
game. It's weird.
Yeah.
So, but no, in the end, I find influenced by the influence of the foodies. So I
love
think
that.
That's where it started, and I think to answer your question, just that, and then also just gaining the confidence from my family. You gotta put your price. You cannot just do things for free anymore.
I love that. But I love that your parents knew that.
Yeah, they were support.
And that you have them
Once
too.
we started realizing, you could make a living, they were like, okay, we're gonna support you. My dad helped me get my first car. And he was
Love
just
that.
like, and he just told me, I know you're gonna need this car to travel. You're gonna need this car to go to Bakersfield, Vegas,
Dads are
and
the best.
San Francisco. Yeah, no, so shout out to my dad.
Was there a specific moment or story behind the moment where you realized, oh shit, like I can make money?
Like I can,
Wait,
this is my check.
Yeah. I would say when I started getting hit up by TikTok, by Instagram,
Oh, wow, yeah.
VidCon, DoorDash, different companies would reach
fire.
out, and I would just realize, wow, like and then the bigger companies, of course, they have a budget, so I never tell any other influencer, creator friend, like, hey, don't double down. No. Put an even greater price because you're value for them.
Let them talk you down.
Let them talk you down. Yeah. So I think in the end, when they started reaching out, I realized, wow, like the rates they're offering, it's insane how much they offer. And I can only imagine people with 1 million followers, how much they offer. I'm only at 250,000 on TikTok, and I'm less than 100K on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, for me, I still think I'm still a small creator compared to other people. But imagine how much they're making, and that there's only one way of going, and it's going up, right?
Right.
So when I realized, the offers, I'm just like, wow, this is something I could do. Of course, there comes the risk, because you could lose it all. I mean, this is a risky game. You can get injured. You can end up, God forbid, in an accident or something. And if you're not able to film, if you're not able, it's over. So I think my parents always remind me, like, yes, this is great, but remember, you could lose it all. And I always remember that. I think that's why I stay at this level of, I don't even want to use the word, but humbleness, because I know I could lose it all, and that's why I'm grateful for it, because it could just be gone.
Yeah.
So
One thing parents are gonna do, they're gonna humble your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing else.
that house it's a humbling house.
So you've done content creation all over LA, OC, the IE.
Yes.
Is there anywhere specifically that you would want to go to that you have not been to yet? And it could be out of state. It could
be out of state.
Different country, whatever.
I would say what we're planning right now is hopefully to go to different parts of Mexico, to go to different parts Central America, specifically El Salvador, and hopefully create like a series where it's like a travel vlogging, where you're showing our travels.
Fire.
I haven't tapped into that yet, but that's a new avenue that I want to
And
tap
that's
into.
such a bit like, yeah.
You can
I know.
travel everywhere for the rest of your life and you'll be set.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
they
I don't know how to do it. I'm still learning.
They take
but-
care of everything
there's
too. Like
some
imagine
companies.
a resort that's like, oh, I want you to come here and talk about the food at our 5-star resort.
That or
Just the food.
or even just going to like the simple pueblas, and just going there. And I think that's where the money comes from, the viewership. So it's different. It's different because of course
Or
it's
getting the
different.
money from the 5-star resorts and then being like, thank you, and then
that's
you
it.
go down. So that, you know what I'm saying?
So, yeah,
The
finesse.
Smart
And
strategy.
That's the strategy right
finesse.
there.
Yeah, there's so many ways. So that definitely, that's great advice. I think that's definitely possible. I think if we're talking about California, I feel like SoCal in general, like I do want to expand to like San Fran, different parts. What is the other one?
San
Well, I
Diego?
already- yeah, San Diego. You know,
San Diego.
I already filmed in San Diego. I filmed in Bakersfield, Vegas.
Nice.
A lot of the IE,
Nice.
a lot of the OC, but the heart of it is in Los Angeles. But of course, I feel like I do want to go explore Southern California. To be honest, I have no idea what North California. I don't even know
Has
what's
to
going
offer.
on. I don't even know, but I'm pretty sure they have something to offer. It's just
They
I
have
feel like a lot of that
wineries.
sazon is over here in Southern California.
There you go. You
So-
in the valley, right? Like the
Yes,
Van Nuys,
yeah, San Gabriel,
Fernando.
yeah. A lot of them. Recently, I filmed like a chilaquila spot
Nice.
in a box, and it went viral. And
In a
everyone's like, "It's just in the box." I'm like, "I don't know. The box is
That's
just
crazy. What's one of your favorite spots up to date? I know you've done a lot. I know that's probably
Just about to
hard.
say, I was like, if you could give us like 2 spots
Just
that like
like,
we
that'd be
must
great.
try, like what would you
Yeah,
say?
yeah. Because I love food.
one of them would of course be my best friend.
Wait, is this how y'all met?
Yes, I'll tell you my story.
I love it.
So-
We need to know the story.
So pretty much, I was barely starting the road to being a full-time foodie, and one of her vlogs, A Day in a Life as a Mexican Restaurant Owner, came up to my For You page, and then I'm just looking, I'm like, wow, like I've never seen this before, just a Latina just talking about her day and her life and the struggles, and you know, and then from there I messaged her. I was like, hey, like I would like to pass by your restaurant, you know, free of charge, like meaning like I'm not here to charge you, because at that time I was just making free content. And I just told her, like, I really like your story, your family. Can I meet, like, I really want to meet you. Like, I was fangirling over her.
Oh, I love it.
Really wanted to
I
meet
love
her.
it.
And then she was like, she DM'd back. She's like, yeah, of course. Like, we would love to have you. Bring some friends. You know, let's make a video together. Let's have fun. So then, yeah, we planned it out. Went over to her restaurant. We had their famous chile rellenos.
Oh my god, I'm such a fan of chile rellenos.
Oh man,
I love it.
I'm not because she's my best friend, but they're pretty freaking good. She made me like chile rellenos. I actually didn't like them growing up. So the name of my best friend Naomi Mendoza's restaurant is Cuernavaca's Grill. She has 2 locations right now in downtown LA and in Bell. They're very viral for their
Downtown LA.
chile rellenos. Their chile rellenos and their quesadillas right now. They're going viral. I filmed them. So basically,
Calzadilla?
quesadilla. So it's like a mini vaca, a cow. Like
I saw that on your page. Wait,
Yeah.
I know what she's talking about. Yeah,
and,
look,
and it's basically
We're gonna do
like
a
fried, like a fried quesadilla, right?
Yeah, it's like a fried quesadilla in shape of a cow.
Yeah.
It's like sour cream cheese.
So when you open it, it looks like it's milking.
that's
No
that's
way.
That's genius. That's who's the chef behind this? Is it?
My dad.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, we need you to come on. and
You need to get her on. It's a good
because
episode.
we have questions.
Yeah,
I
no,
do.
it's
So your
definitely.
family's like also like I love that.
My dad has made a video. We're planning right now for our dads to make a video together. My dad doesn't know how to cook that well. He uses too much salt, unfortunately.
That is gonna be a
and
great
her
episode.
dad is a great cook.
That is
so they're gonna teach.
fire.
He's gonna teach my dad how to make food. So it's gonna be funny.
That's a fire.
I love that.
episode.
So you guys met by,
Yeah.
essentially working together.
Yeah.
And then now you guys are just.
It was just like it started off as that kind of like a business relationship, then
Yeah.
it turned to an actual relationship, and now
Yeah.
we're just like I visit her house every other time. We're always going to like different areas. We're eating out everywhere.
I love that.
At this point, we're like family. She's like a sister to me. So
I love
think
that.
I think that has helped me so
melting.
much gain confidence in this industry, because she's a part of the restaurant industry, and that's
Yeah.
another layer of,
Yeah.
of obstacles,
Yeah.
especially for Latinas. But
You guys are
here,
on opposite sides,
yeah,
too.
we're
'cause
on
it's-
our marketing, and she's
Yeah.
an owner. So I think that
Yeah.
two different sides of the coin.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think she would definitely be one of my top. And then the other one, I would say if you love for Salvadorian food, I would go with La Pupusa Urban Eatery.
I've heard of that.
They're one of my first videos that have went super viral, and my dad came on it. He was basically my brother opened this box, his pizza box, and it was like this giant pupusa. And in Salvador they do have them, a couple pupusa locas. It's not uncommon, but you hardly see that in the U.S. So when my dad saw it, he was like, "Oh my gosh, like un pupusón," like damn. It was funny, and that gained over, I believe it did go over like 5 million views and stuff, like on TikTok.
Wow.
So it did reach a
for
lot
Dad.
of people.
Good for
My
Dad.
dad,
Yeah.
my dad was loved by so many Salvadorians, and even some people are like, "I swear I worked with your dad," because my dad's in construction.
Oh, they probably
Like, I think I worked with your dad before. I'm like, yeah, you probably saw him. He's a
fire.
carpenter, construction worker, and now he's retired, but he's still a handyman. He never likes to stay chill. He's always doing something in the house or in the neighborhood. But no, I think his support, my parents' support, have really helped me so much. And yeah, so La Pupusa Urban Eatery for Salvadorian food, one of my favorites. And then
love that.
hers would be for Mexican. And then I would say like another one I could point out that's a fusion that I really enjoy is cilantro lime.
Ooh, downtown LA.
Yeah,
It's in that little plaza, huh?
yes, a little
Fire.
plaza.
You've been
and-
there?
Burritos are
So it's like he does like like that American Mexican fusion with like our love for fries, not like the more Americanized, but he fuses it with that Mexican flavor.
Yeah.
And he actually named this dish after me. We created it together, the Latina Foodie Trash Nachos. It's like in a huge trash can looking thing, and you just pull it out and all the nachos go down. It's been created before, but we just made our version of it.
Stop.
And
We will go
it's
get
just-
that right now.
It is so good. Yeah.
I'm looking at pictures right
Yeah. So good. And then for aesthetics and like the environment, like the vibe and everything, I would say Rosa Madera in Santa Ana. I think right now the downfall of like a lot of foodies, blowing up with the videos and all that would be that like the lines are crazy. Like right now, when I posted, I think it did reach over 2 million, and other foodies posted.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
But the people in the comments were like, I waited 2 hours and 4 hours and we left. I'm just like, because that's just the foodie effect, right? Of foodies. But in the end, it's tough. It's tough to make people just be happy, right?
Like,
So
sorry, y'all.
my favorite night market in LA would be El Mercadito. It's basically located at El Mercadito de Los Angeles in Boyle Heights. And I just posted like a
nice.
couple
Very
days
nice.
ago, and it's blowing up, and a lot of people are going. So that's my favorite right now in LA. And then in Orange County, my favorite night market is Friday Night Munchies. Ooh, really good, really good. It's in
nice.
Bistro Street, the OC, yes. And oh my gosh, I mean, all types of food. I think my favorite barbecue is from Situationship Catering, I believe it's called.
Situationship catering.
Y'all writing this down?
Like everybody
Situation.
is writing these
I
down.
hopefully
I guess
Hopefully I got it right. I feel bad, but the main cook, his name's Beans. Amazing,
Beans.
amazing. And they make some of the best barbecue I've ever had. And oh my gosh. And then from there, they just have different foods. Churros, esquite. They have pupusas. I mean, they have everything. Everything you could think of.
I super love that you highlight vendors because that's so
Yeah.
important. Because a lot of vendors don't really know. I mean, I feel it's more popular now to know about social media and to like put their stuff on there. But even then, you don't know how to market. You don't have like the knowledge to do that. So I love that people like you specifically are highlighting. You know what I mean?
I told my family or people that I work with, I told them I'm never going to stop representing my vendors. I always want to work with them. I don't care if I get 10 million, a million, whatever followers, like I still want to work with vendors. They're the sweetest. They treat you like family immediately. I know sometimes they go through those struggles of the permits and stuff, but a lot of the time, like their goal is to just make that dream come true and serve their food that they love so much and serve it to their community to enjoy. And I think that's so precious. So I would always work with them. And again, if a vendor reaches out, barely 100 followers, I still work with them. I tell them, let's make a meeting, let's talk. Because some people could be like, oh, they don't have this many followers. Then no one knows them. Why would I work with them? But we don't do that. We don't care how many followers you have. We'll work with you.
I do have one
Last question, babe.
Okay,
We
last
gotta
question.
get her out of
Okay,
here.
I'm sorry. Last question. I know, I'm so sorry.
Go for it. Go for it.
So, okay, if a restaurant hits you up and you aren't like a super fan of the food, like where do you feel, and say it is okay, paid or not paid, like whatever, like what do you do? Because it's like I am getting
a good question.
paid for this, but you also are very big on your community, so I feel like you wouldn't want to.
So I found a middle ground to that.
Okay.
So what I've done is, well, like I've told you already, we basically, my team and I, we review like their Instagram, or we review like what content they have to provide. We ask them, what's your menu looking like? What dishes are you looking to highlight? And based off of that, when we get there physically, I usually do a taste test, or when I'm trying it, and if I genuinely, it's not for my tasting, I tell the person or the owner, the manager, like, you know what, can we replace this with another dish? I'm not really feeling this one. And if they ask what was wrong with it, I will be honest, maybe too much sugar or too much salt. Maybe it was made, differently this way, but let's show another one. And I usually choose the ones and I could review up to 15 plates of video, so I choose whichever ones I deem to be good for my platform. But again, I think taste buds for every person is different.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
no matter what, if I do like something, 1,000 people later, one person will not like it.
Yeah.
So I think in the end, it's tough. That's definitely tough. I've gotten comments. They're like, "Oh, I tried it, did not like it." Again, I went, I loved it. So it's tough. I feel like in the end, I always remind people, I'm letting you know my opinion.
Right.
And if you don't trust my opinion, okay, get it from someone else. And
Right.
that's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, if there's a restaurant that I genuinely don't see has, let's say good reviews, or it's kind of sketchy, or it doesn't seem like they're consistent, then we kindly decline. And or if they say, I give them a chance. You know what? In the future, when I see these certain things that I need, to feel more confident in representing you, get back to me. And they're like, okay, So it's never an animosity. It's never, I'm shut down. Like I'm just gonna
Just
push you
business.
down. Yeah, I don't like to just. I don't know what it's called. I just don't like to be obnoxious with this, because it's something that very important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I have this type of job, and I have to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So. It's a good question.
Well, it's some people's livelihood. So they're like, if you're a content creator, you can potentially help my business,
Exactly. And I think that's a big responsibility. So that's why I never give out any bad review, because I know some people are different about it, but when you have that platform where you're able to give a negative review, you have no idea how much you can affect a family, a business, even if they have a chance to redeem themselves, that image is tainted forever.
Yeah.
And
So you rather
unfortunately,
just not do it
I'd
than
rather
to-
not
yeah.
do that, and I'd rather
I
be,
feel
you know
that.
what, I'll get back to you. And if it really, I think it's only been maybe 1 or 2 restaurants that were really like, wow, I couldn't review it, and I never posted it, and I gave them an explanation, and we left it at that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so far, I mean, LA, I believe, is one of the best, food cultures out there. So, so far, I've been lucky enough to basically almost everywhere I go, it just bombards me with amazing flavors. I wouldn't consider myself a food critic. That's another thing. I always tell people I'm not a food critic. There are food critics out there that do it professionally. That is fine. That's what they want to do. I don't do that because I want to support the community. I want to embrace it. I don't want to be a beacon of, boom or doom, I would say. I don't want to do that. So,
I love that.
And then for those who do, it's okay. If you want to go there, that's totally
That's just
fine.
not your
But
lane.
it's not my lane, because then I would feel like a heaviness in my heart if I tell a business they sucked. Like it would literally hurt
Like,
my
what's your
feelings.
sign?
I would start crying.
What's your sign?
Virgo.
Oh,
I don't know if that goes.
No,
Does it go?
you love a good Virgo, and it makes sense as to how
Yeah.
driven you are, as to how
humble, like
yeah.
the background. Like I really appreciate the community and the culture that you've embedded into your business.
So
That's fire.
we try so hard. So I think in the end, that is a touchy subject. But honestly, I could never see myself saying something negative towards a business, because I know it's not just the food. It's a family. It's a business.
Yeah.
So for me, I will try my best to do the best I can to represent a business that meets my criteria, and we go forward.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
love
so,
that.
yeah.
That's a really good question to end
That was
on,
very
man.
good
Good job. Thanks. So just so you guys know, you can have a business and not be an asshole about shit. You can really just, put your best foot forward and create and do what you love and love what you do.
And you can love people, be nice to people,
Yes.
care about community,
All the above.
and still succeed. You know, I feel like a lot of things are like cancel culture now, and like people are just so mean, and people are just like, you know what I mean? But like you could still go through life being a good person, doing what you love, and being surrounded by family and friends. Like that's, you know what I mean? And make a living for yourself. And look at you, you're doing it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And
No, thank
again,
you.
one of the first podcasts I'm able to be a part of. I definitely feel like I could say anything. So thank you guys for bringing the space. Everyone here, the whole team. Thank you guys.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
What asking for a friend
Yeah.
for upcoming foodie creators, what advice do you give them?
I give that's
She said a
Oh, okay.
No, I just love food.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
would
She's
say-
Yelp Elite. I don't know if you know what that is.
Oh,
but-
yes. Yelp Elite. I used to do Yelp too, but I stopped because it's a lot of work. It's not easy.
And you
props
don't
to you
get
guys.
paid, but I'm glad
know.
that you hit your avenue.
I'm mad at you, but no, it's tough still. I know.
Yeah.
But the best advice I would have for any future foodies, especially women, Latinas in general, I would say embrace your personality, embrace your features, what you bring to the video. Like don't hide away from it. Your style of clothing, your hair, what is you, like bring it out there and just be consistent. I think starting 3 years ago, I have not stopped posting. I don't think I've ever taken a break, which I do need. That's another topic. But I do think that just being so consistent and having that drive, like it literally has to be your passion. This is my passion. That's why I haven't been able to stop, because it's my passion. But if I feel like if I took a week or 2 weeks, I feel like I would go crazy, because I'm like, I need to tell a story. But no, I definitely think just being consistent, having that passion, that your passion has to be your work in this industry, or else you will burn out really, really fast. So and then of course create relationships with these restaurants. If we're talking to foodies, create relationships, talk to them, don't treat it like don't walk in a restaurant and be like, give me the food, pay me here, whatever. No, I create a relationship, get to know them, be a part of their family, if you will. Sometimes I go to restaurants that I've worked with, they treat me like family, I'm like family to them, and they're like family to me, and we hit it off. And then I feel like a friendship, then business is beautiful if you can. I love that. But nonetheless, and then just be who you are. I think it is pretty much. So you're already who you guys are. You guys can obviously do awesome foodie content straight up.
Thanks.
And just do so.
I'm like, not the podcast retiring and her going off to do stuff by herself. I'm like, what am I? She's like, both of us, right? Oh, okay. She does say, well, I can do that. I can do
No,
that.
thank you though. I really appreciate that, because I love the content. I love the food. And I love, just seeing someone from a similar background to me just strive, and then the family aspect is fire, culture, friends.
The big three, I think. What are they called?
The big three. Family,
friends, and
right now. Cheers to the big three: family,
friends, and funds.
And cheers.
Thank you
I
so
have to finish
much.
my drink. Oh no.
She said,
It was good.
Like it. No, that's just kidding, Emily. We always love your drinks. They're amazing. They're amazing.
Cheers to Emily.
Ironically, I'm a very slow eater, so that's one thing about me. I eat slow.
Wow.
Fast as shit.
Slow, but then because I talk a lot, so. But
Well, that's it today for the Honey I'm Home podcast. I'm Priz.
I'm Talon.
And I'm Latina Foodie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we are coming to your restaurant.
Yes. Yes, we can put it up.
To your restaurant, but we need to write it down.
So search up Cuernavaca's Grill on Instagram.